there, Holly Rowe from ESPN here, and I am with a gold medalist, Nastia Liukin. I mean, I've been such a fan of yours for a long time, watching you compete. This is cool. Here we are at Sport Beach, presented by Stagwell, and this is cool for us because we're always in the sports world. We don't know about the marketing and brand management side. So how would you say you've navigated, you had a lot of fans following your career. You had a lot of people built in watching you. How are you kind of keeping that fan base as you move into the next phase of your business career?
Yeah, I think it's like you said, it's really cool to be on the other side of things now and to still involve, ourselves with something we're so passionate about, which is sports. And the fans are really the ones that really make it happen on both sides. And I think with brands like Volition, for instance, one of my partners, it's really cool because I created a product, a skincare product with them, but the way that it comes to the shelves is the fans have to vote it in. And so it's really cool because you don't normally see that. Normally with the brand, you see people in a boardroom, they're like, this is really popular and this is going to make us a lot of money and let's put it out there. And so working with Volition has been really just a unique approach to, as you said, keeping the fans engaged, and keeping them engaged in your career, even when you're off the competition floor.
So I really love that because there's women that I have followed in sports, like Megan Rapinoe's one that I would point to. When she endorses a brand, I just know what her values are, who she is. I, as a consumer, buy that brand. So how have you seen your loyal fan base kind of follow you into that?
Well, and I think that's extremely important because, it's hard to, at times, I think, for some people to maybe say no to opportunities, right? But I think that's what builds the loyalty is when you're not doing every single, brand opportunity out there, but you're really staying true and loyal to who you are and to, what's important to you. And I think that's what I'm so fortunate to have such an incredible team that I get to work with every single day. And we align on so many values, and they kind of speak to what my passions are, and vice versa. And I think once you're able to do that and find that, and now listen, it's taken me 30 years or so to be able to find those people, but I think it's super important because when you look at sports as a whole, it's when you're on the field of play, you don't really necessarily. Now with social a little bit more, but you don't really have that voice. You're out there doing your thing, and now with social media and with brands and marketing, it's such an incredible opportunity, and you have that platform. But it's also so important to stay true to who you are.
Yeah. So we are now pickleball players. We're picklers, we call ourselves. We learned together.
Yes.
I do think we were pretty good. We have some potential.
I mean, you might have been low-key professional.
I'm just obnoxiously competitive, but you're talking about staying true to who you are. You have a message to share. I think that more than ever, young people need to hear about the hard parts of what it took to be an Olympic athlete. So how are you telling people what this real journey was like?
Yeah, well, I have a podcast coming out, The Muse Collective, and it's something that I've been really passionate about, and I've been really careful to not just quickly launch it because I really want to put thought behind it. And I think it's so important now because of the world we live in with social and how everything can kind of seem like an overnight success at times. You have a video or a post go viral and all of a sudden you have millions and millions of followers, which, whatever, I guess everyone defines success differently, but I think that it's important for us on the athlete side in the sports world to know that it doesn't come easy and it doesn't come overnight, and you do have to work extremely hard. And I think the moments that aren't necessarily talked about as much, and for instance, the moment that defined my life and career was actually after I won my gold medal, and 4 years later trying to make my second Olympic team, I fell flat on my face at the Olympic trials. I got back up, I finished my routine knowing that moment didn't matter. I wasn't gonna make the Olympic team, but when I landed on my feet on my dismount, I got a standing ovation for the worst routine of my entire life and career.
But you got back up. That's why people cared.
And I think that for me was a moment that I was like, okay, I'm not going to be defined by a gold medal. People are still going to love me if I fall on my face. And I think it's so important because we're all going to fall on our face, literally or figuratively at some point in our life. How do you pick yourself up? How do you keep going? And I think those are the moments that are important to share, and especially with this next generation. It's so important to have conversations like that.
Okay, Muse Collective podcast. I can't wait because, the last Olympics, we had a lot of conversation about mental health, Simone Biles. And I'm one of those people, when it first happened, when she withdrew some events, I didn't understand. And I was like, what? I know her. I've talked to her. We needed to hear the whys and the explanations. And you said something to me yesterday about I was too young to know how to present this information and how to quickly, in a 30-second interview with someone, share my life story. What's your advice for young people who are now trying to connect as athletes in media?
Well, using your platform, and I think that's something, not to say like, oh, they're lucky now or compare, but I didn't have social media in 2008 when I won the gold, and so you quickly, we talked about it, you have 30 seconds essentially, and your mind is all over the place. You see the scoreboard and you're like, oh my gosh, I just won the gold medal, and then you're thinking so many different things, but now to be able to use your voice, to be able to use your platform and talk about things that are super important to you and share who you really are, because when you're on the field of play, whatever that may be for you, you are so laser focused, and you have to be, right? You have to be in order to be the best. You have to be focused. But I think every single person, every single athlete, you don't have to be quote unquote successful or quote unquote famous to be able to share who you really are. And so being able to utilize that is so important, and it gives people that advantage. So everybody out there, just take advantage of that opportunity that you have.
All right, and just know that if you fall flat on your face in front of thousands of people,
20,000 people will still
you
stay
will
on their
survive,
feet.
and you can get up and you can be strong and you can be a role model for a lot of people. All right, thank you so much. Nastia Liukin, we are here at Sport Beach, presented by Stagwell, and we are so excited to talk to you about athletes, how they win, how they set the standard, and thank you, Nastia Liukin, the gold standard.